Hey, 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 everyone. Let's see if I'm live in the group. Let's see it. Let's see it. Today I have a very special episode, and as soon as I can confirm I'm live, okay, I am live. Let me get Kyle on here, and then I will do a proper introduction. How is your lunch going? If anyone's here joining us, this was a last minute live. We've had the idea to do this. We were supposed to do it yesterday, but things came up. So let me get Kyle on here really quickly. But hello, hello, hello this week. I feel like I haven't talked to people this week as much as I usually do in the group. So let's just see. Happy Friday! Today, me and Kyle are going to help out a member of the Local SEO Phoenix because they asked a really excellent question. Let's see. Hey Kyle, we are live, by the way.
What's going on?
Not much. I pretty much this time it didn't give me trouble. I was able to go live, so it's a
Sweet.
surprise. I haven't done an introduction or anything about what today's episode is about. But how's your Friday been?
It's good talking to people about our rank until you don't pay until you rank, getting some stuff done with our custom GPTs, going through Search Console for one of our clients. Been busy.
That sounds very busy. That sounds like two or three people's worth of
Yeah,
jobs you're doing.
always, always.
So that's really cool. Yeah, happy Friday to everyone out there. So me and Kyle
So
jumped on this
close.
big. Sorry,
So close. Almost got my name right
I
the first.
know. It's one of those days. I did not sleep well.
Yeah.
But me and Kyle jumped on here to answer a really good question that a local SEO Phoenix member has. And let me pull up the thread really quickly. Okay, so here we go. The question he has is that he's planning to launch his own SEO agency focused on providing comprehensive SEO services, which are not limited to local SEO. So he would greatly appreciate any resources, guides, or recommendations on how to get started successfully. He'd love to hear about common mistakes to avoid and helpful lessons learned. And the topics of interest, Kyle, we can tackle anything from business setup or client acquisition strategies, essential tools, best practices, and marketing. So whatever we feel like, wisdom you
Right.
and I collectively want to impart, it's on.
Right.
So
Yeah. I mean, as far as starting the agency, the first thing, I mean, you can start. I have a video from a couple years ago on how to start an agency for less than $100. I mean,
oh,
really, yeah. I mean, really, I think people just overthink things, right?
yep,
I mean,
yep.
there's all these things where people are like, oh, but I need to get this logo, but I don't know if this logo is right. I need to get a website, but I don't know what kind of website to build, if I even have time, yada yada. Just do it. Just start. Like
You
seriously,
would be, you're absolutely correct. I built a six-figure agency without ever having a website, which it sounds crazy.
right?
I
Yeah,
built it
exactly.
down the road. Yeah, yeah, um,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, really just pick a name, right? And then like I don't really want to give out like, business or tax advice, but
right.
you can do it as a sole proprietor. You don't need to get an LLC or anything like that, S corp when you first start out. Like just be a sole proprietor, right? Get a website, get a phone number. You can use Google Voice. You can use VoIP.ms, which is a VoIP number and costs like $2 a month, right?
Right.
And that's really all you need to start. One thing I would caution against is trying to be a generalist agency. Like
Okay.
you can't be all things to all people, right?
No, you
It's
can't.
like, we were talking earlier, like you go to these diners that have like 50 pages in their menu, right? I mean, would you really want to go to some place that has chicken fingers and lasagna and like falafel and chow mein?
Dude, those are like my least favorite places.
Right.
Diners with too many choices, yeah.
Exactly, because you know they're not going to do any of them very well, right?
Right,
It's the same
right,
thing. Like if you say, "Oh, I'm going to do SEO, but I'm going to do local, and I'm going to do enterprise, and I'm going to do national, and I'm going to do ecom," like,
right.
yeah, just you don't need to pick like a specific industry you're going to work with. Like I'm only going to work with landscapers, right? But to start, just pick something that you are going to specialize in. Like I've done everything. Like I've done ecom. Like Blue Nile was one of my clients. I've done SaaS, like enterprise stuff. Like I've had clients go from like getting their Series A funding to expanding over to EMEA, like
Yeah,
Europe and Asia, right?
right.
But what I like doing is local SEO. That's my like wheelhouse, and that's how I market myself. Like I'm a local SEO. I do Google Maps rankings all day.
And you would be correct with that because, like, now that I've started a group in front of you, it's specifically for local SEO. And I know starting off, I was like, is this too niche? But it seems to be the perfect thing because it's grown to 700 members in 2.5 months, right?
That is
Which is pretty fucking cool.
that is awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, so exactly what you're saying. And I'm getting clients from there, right? So what you're saying works, like specialize in something so you can attract the right clients that need that service.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Like I mean, think about you know I mean, as much as I hate them, like I do admire like McDonald's, like their company. I mean, think about all the things they've tried over the years and their business model and stuff like that. Like they've done some fucking wacky things. Like they've had like McPizza and shit like that, like
Did
McSalad.
we?
Yeah, McPizza was a thing.
Oh
They
my
have
god.
they have mixed spaghetti.
No
And,
way. I do not remember this.
well, I think I think it's only in the Philippines, but I mean,
Okay.
there's things that they've tried that just haven't caught on because it's not their core competency.
Yeah.
Like figure out what your core competency is. If you're great at local SEO, then be a local SEO agency. If you're great at ecom, then be an ecom SEO agency.
You're
Right?
right.
Don't try to be all
You,
things to all people.
I want a burger, I just go to In and Out. Like that's my place. You know what
There
I
you
mean?
go.
Or Five Guys or something like that. Yeah.
And look at In-N-Out's menu.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they just have a few things they do really well, and that's how your agency should be. Just a few things that you do really well, and just fucking hammer that. Just go
Oh,
to what you're
yeah.
doing, to what you're expert in.
That's fucking great advice. Speak to your ideal client. Like,
Mhm.
because everything I share in the group is all about local SEO, those are the types of clients I'm getting. That's how the group is growing. So you are right on point with that.
Right.
All
Yeah.
right.
And then, so once you got that done, like, don't worry so much about, oh, I got to get a logo and branding and shit like that. Like, fucking just pay somebody $100 off Fiverr to make you a logo. Like, you can spend $1,000 on a logo later, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
really, like, what you got to do is just start getting clients, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like every time that I focused on those things, they were the wrong things because I made the least money by waiting
Mhm.
to do a website and the logo. But like I said, I've built businesses without having a website and it came later. And it sounds crazy in the world of SEO, but it's true. Like,
Right.
it's fucking true. There's so many different ways of acquiring clients now. And like in Facebook, I just share my knowledge and you share your knowledge, right?
Right. Right.
And that's good enough for people, right? And they'll ask you questions in person
Mhm.
or through messages. Like they're
Mhm.
not even checking out the website. So
Exactly.
you're saying just jump over that stuff and maybe start looking at client acquisition or something in those on
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing too that I see agency owners were so I mean, agencies live and die on sales, right? Like some agency owners are like, I'm great at SEO, I got this great website, I got this great logo, people are just gonna flock to me. And that's not how it works, right? So I mean, say you've chosen, okay, I'm gonna do local SEO, right? You spent $50 on a Fiverr logo, you got a simple 3-page website, 'cause that's really all you need, right? Like a
Yeah,
homepage, about us, contact us page. And
right.
now you're like, okay, a lot of a lot of guys then are like, okay, I'm gonna sit back and wait, and people are gonna flock to me. And this is not how it works, right?
No, no, it does
Like,
not.
there are so many SEOs out there and so many SEO agencies and so many really shitty SEO agencies that you cannot do that. You have to set yourself apart from the pack somehow, right? There's a reason why so many SEOs have YouTube channels, they're on Twitter, LinkedIn. You need
Yeah,
to build your brand and you need to show your expertise. I mean, for every SEO agency out there, I would say maybe 1 or 2 out of every 100 actually work on their brand and show their expertise.
yeah,
And those are
yeah.
the ones that set themselves apart from the pack,
Right,
right?
right, absolutely.
Because think about it, if you're a business owner and you, by some miracle, happen to stumble upon a website from some SEO agency who says they're the best, they have a 1 page or a 3-page website, and that's it. You don't
Mm,
see them on social media, on YouTube, nothing. Like, are you really going to engage with them? No, you don't
right,
know a thing about
yeah,
them, and you're going to entrust your marketing budget to them. Like,
exactly.
like,
Yeah,
just put some fucking effort behind your branding, behind your own marketing. And now
I
a lot
love
of people are saying, "Oh, I rank my own website." Well, that doesn't mean shit. One, that tells me that you're working on your own website and not your client's stuff. And two,
it.
yeah, and two, the people who search for SEO agency near me and fill out those forms are all tire kickers, right?
I've been wondering, like, how many people actually receive legitimate leads through SEO for their agencies like that. Yeah.
I'd say maybe out of every 20 leads, maybe 1 will be legitimate, and out of those, maybe 1 out of 10 will actually be a good fit.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Like,
Got
people who rank their websites and shit, it's all just being one fucking, like,
it. Right.
that's
It's
it.
just, it's just to prove you're the big kahuna or something and
Yeah,
get
it's
a
just
big
one big
contract.
yeah, it's just one big masturbatory exercise, that's it.
Exactly. And you
Yeah.
don't need to do this. Like I see this all the time. Like newbies are asking questions about how they can acquire clients. And it is not helpful to say, well, you do SEO, do it through SEO. That is
Yeah.
first you need some resources, right? And second, it takes time. There are much quicker things you can do. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I guarantee you that getting organic leads through your trying to rank your website is going to be one of the worst ways to try to acquire clients. It's just a big fucking waste of time, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
really, like I said, like, you need to get people to know, like, and trust you, and you do that by doing things like, Facebook Lives like this, by going on YouTube and posting videos, by being active in different groups. I mean, networking is a huge thing. Like,
It
join
is.
some networking groups, join some meetups, right? Show your expertise, go out and shake hands, and that's how you do it. And
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I would add is like depending on what your strength is, like if you are a social person, then go out there and shake some hands, join some networking groups. If you're
mhm,
really good at writing or video, do YouTube videos, go online, start a group or something like that. Show off
yeah,
your skill.
yeah, exactly. Like, I'm not the most social person, but I can make videos all day. I can do podcasts all day.
Apparently you can. We're having a blast doing them, right? Like Facebook Live,
Exactly,
we talk about SEO and every other thing. And
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
this is fun. But I mean, I don't like I hate going to meetups. I hate networking and shit like that. So I just don't do it. I'm too fucking old to do any of that shit now.
Hey, I get it. Like, I do not want to go and paste a smile. Like, this is natural to me, but like
Right.
when I go in person, it's just not my thing, right?
Yeah, you
Like, I
just
would rather do this all day. Yeah.
exactly like you got to go to these business meetups. You got to put your mask on and pretend you're all Miss Social Moon Hussain. You're professional, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What I did last time.
Exactly. Yeah, just play to your strengths. Like, one thing that I do in my brand is it's fucking hardcore SEO. It's punk rock because that's where I grew up. I grew up in the hardcore scene down here in Orange County. That's my personality, and that's what we do.
Yeah.
And that's my brand, and that's how I separate myself from everybody else. Me and Dimitri, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
find your voice and just go into that. People appreciate being genuine. So,
Yeah.
like you said, if you're not the type of person to go out, like you're the Uber salesman who loves going out and swinging doors and making cold calls and shit like that, then maybe that's not your strength, right? I
Right.
mean, cold calls are a great way to get clients. I guarantee it because people don't cold call enough. Everybody wants to do cold emails, which just go into junk, right?
Yeah.
But if you cold call and you get somebody on the phone, like as long as you got two brain cells to rub together, you're gonna be able to get clients. I'm
Yeah.
serious. Yeah.
That means my cat could do this then, huh?
Your cat could definitely do this.
Yeah.
He's got the two orange brain cells rubbed together. Like just put him on the phone.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, this isn't just for SEO agencies, like this is literally business strategies on how to get clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like cold calling and cold emailing are a part of that. And I think depending on what your strength is, if you're tech savvy, maybe cold emails are fine. But I, like you said, like picking up the phone and making phone calls, you could probably land decent gigs that way
Oh,
too.
for sure. For sure,
Yeah,
exactly. But part of that too goes into you need to build out your brand. So people are going to search for you afterwards. They're going to search for your brand name. So yeah,
yeah.
make sure you have at least like, like a 3-page website, even you've got all your socials down that you're posting on.
Hmm.
Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube are the biggest ones,
Yeah,
right? People specifically look for a GBP if you have a GBP. These are all like the very basic things that you have to do to get people to trust you. And
right.
then keeping all your socials active and everything is important too. One thing about consumers is people have to see a brand 7 times before they even think to engage with it,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So if they see you once on YouTube, they're going to forget about you the next day.
Yeah.
But if you keep pumping up videos and people are going to keep watching those, right? Take your videos,
Right.
take your videos, chop those up into YouTube shorts, right? And then put those YouTube shorts onto TikTok as well,
Yep.
right? And then if you use
Yep.
a software like Restream, like this one, you can take the audio and then put that into a podcast, right? So let's say
Yep.
that you make a 15-minute long video.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a 15-minute long video you can put up on YouTube. Then you can
Yep.
chop that up into 15 1-minute YouTube shorts. And then you
True.
can take those. So now you have 16 pieces of content, right?
Yep.
Then you can take those and put them onto TikTok. Now you got 31 pieces of content,
Yep.
right? And then you can take those and then put those uh, onto Facebook. Now you got 46. Then you can take those and put those onto Instagram. Now you got 61. Then you can take that YouTube, turn it into a podcast. Now you got 62. Then you can take that and put it into a press release. And that's 63 times 450 outlets. Now, if
That's
somebody searches for your brand name, you've got 500, 600 instances of your brand name out there.
And you are absolutely correct about this. One thing that took me a while to master, and even now, like sometimes if I don't maintain it, I don't do it well. But when I'm on it, I'm on it. It's kind of like you really have to understand how to repurpose your content, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to create new videos for TikTok and new videos for YouTube. You can take that same piece of content and reuse it multiple dozens of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I research other people or when I'm going to buy something expensive or whatever, absolutely I do a Google search. And instead of having one or two pitiful little properties up there, if I see that you have a YouTube channel and you have like 20 videos out, I start clicking and watching and becoming familiar. And that's exactly what you want. You want them in your funnel, right? You want
Exactly.
them to become familiar with you, and start thinking about your services, right?
Exactly. And then, like you said, you're seeing them 7 times, and then you're thinking about engaging, right?
Yes. Yep.
That's not 7 different pieces of content. It can be one piece of content seen in 7 different properties.
True. Yep. There
Yeah.
you go. That's that's
So
yeah. I
yes. So you just got to get that stickiness in there, right?
yeah. Yep.
So I mean, literally one 15-minute long YouTube video could get you 600 different placements, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
like it's mind blowing with like I know these things, but then when we're chatting about it, I'm like, shit, I gotta get that done. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and that's the thing. Like if you're starting an agency, these things are absolutely crucial. Like, and it doesn't take that long to do it.
Hmm.
If you overthink it, then it takes long to do it. But if
Right.
you get right to it, just shoot a handful of videos and repurpose the living shit out of it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Like look at the videos I have up on my YouTube channel, like the podcast and shit. Like that's one, maybe two takes.
Yeah.
Like I just fire up my camera and go. But that's one of my strengths, right?
Right.
Like just like point me in the right direction. I'll just start going over that way. And that's kind
Yeah.
of just what I do. And that's what works for me. But like if you're a great people person, then by all means, like start going to businesses, the ones that you want to target. Drop
Yeah.
your business card off, just start shaking hands and shit. I know this one photographer who built up his entire business by doing what he called muffin basket diplomacy.
What
And
the?
so what he would do, so he's a high-end wedding photographer. Like he charges like $10,000 for a shoot, $20,000 for a shoot, right?
Nice.
Yeah. He only has to work like once a month. It's fucking amazing. I should have got into this.
Yes.
Yeah, and he still lives over here in Seal Beach, like in one of those like $1.5, $2 million homes. It's like 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms, just by working a couple days a month.
That's great.
But what he would do is he would go to these like wedding venues and the hotels down in like Huntington Beach, up in like Beverly Hills and shit. People where people might be going for their wedding receptions or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he would literally just like find out who the decision maker is, walk up to their secretary or administrative assistant or whatever with
Yeah.
a basket full of muffins. Be like,
Oh,
hey, my name's so and so. I just want to drop this off and say hi. I mean, this is
yeah.
for you guys. Here's my business card. I'd really appreciate if you put me on your list of vendors. And then that worked like bonkers for him. Just
That's
doing
amazing.
muffin basket diplomacy, just going up in person, talking to people.
Right. I feel like if you have a personality, if you're personable, if you can be a people person, it goes a long fucking way because
Yeah.
that's if people buy from people they like, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're personable, if you know how to talk to people, that like you said, this guy built a crazy business
Yeah.
by handing out muffins.
Exactly. And that worked for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if it was me, I'd be like, "Hey, here's some muffins. You know what? Just we're the fucking best. Give us a call. I don't give a shit about these muffins. Take them. I'm out of
Right.
here. Just give me a call."
See, now I could do better with muffins. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
could hit that, but he did it in a way like just think about it. That's insane to me because like if somebody came up to me and said, "Well, just go and be personable," I'll be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" You know what I mean? But this guy has
have
a
you
muffin
met me?
shop. Yeah, exactly. I can barely like get on here and do these things,
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
he's got a whole basket full of muffins, and he's brave enough to go introduce himself,
Right.
and everybody's the fuck off. And the
Yeah.
thing is, it's so different. It's so like just friendly. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Why would I give my business to someone who would randomly call me or whatever when somebody like they fucking fed me a sweet muffin and I have their business card? You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
sick.
But what if they brought
Right?
you a whole bunch of like shitty fucking brand muffins and stuff? Oh, I'd be pissed. Like, fuck this guy. This is sort of a
You-
joke.
Hey, I learned to make banana bread. Like that's been my thing, and then I went crazy with it during the fucking pandemic. But
Like
hey,
everybody did. Yeah.
yeah. But no, that's a great example. Like if you can stand out in a good way, do it. Do not undermine your own ideas
Yeah.
because they take you far.
Right. Everybody has to find a way to stand out. If you just market yourself as an SEO agency and I'm the best, that's not
Yeah,
going to go anywhere. But if you
I
can
get
market yourself as like, hey, I'm an SEO agency, I'm super knowledgeable, and I got the expertise, and here's my proof. Here's the companies I work with. By the way,
it.
here's my brand. My brand is XYZ. I mean,
Right.
that's gonna make you stand out above all these people who take a fucking Udemy course, throw up a website, start calling themselves an SEO specialist, right?
You know what? You're right. Give me 1 second, Kyle. Keep that thought in mind.
Yeah.
1 second.
Sure. No. Problems with the kitties?
Sorry, cats don't do well with closed doors.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so having a brand and having a voice is going to make you stand out, like I said, from all those dickheads who take a Udemy course and think they're fucking SEO experts now,
Yeah.
right? So
Absolutely.
like you have Local SEO Phoenix. You're not just San Diego SEO company,
Right.
right? And you got a
Right.
story. You've been doing this for years, right? You have all the uh, the case studies and the proof behind it and everything, right?
Right. Right.
And I've been doing this for years too. Like, luckily, like I've got contacts and stuff. Like, I've got a network of other SEOs that I know and shit, and I've already done that.
Yeah.
So I mean, my brand is just fucking hardcore SEO. Like, you don't like us, fuck you, right?
You're
I don't
right.
care. But if you're just starting out, you need to find out who you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go in this just as San Diego SEO company, we do everything, you're going to fail. But if you can
Yeah.
say, we are XYZ SEO, we get you ranked in Google Maps in 90 days or less, or your money back, something like that,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's your USP. That's your unique selling proposition. That's your brand. That's your personality, right? That's what
Right.
you need to do. Figure out
Exactly.
what your USP is, what's going to make you unique, and that's going to make you stand out from the pack, right?
Right. And
Yeah.
don't be afraid to try these ideas in the beginning. Like I still do it where I'll come up with an idea and then I'll be like, nah, I don't know about that. Try. Like you
Hmm.
don't fucking know. It could be $1 million idea, right? Like
Right.
rank something in 90 days and more than likely if you know SEO, like you will, because the local SEO space is, easy enough.
Stupid easy.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I definitely agree with that, Kyle. I
Yeah.
definitely agree.
Yeah. So like you get your 3-page website. Don't worry about getting an LLC. Just go as a sole proprietor first. Again, not tax advice, not legal advice, but this is just
Right.
like what I've found is the easiest way to do it. Figure
Yeah.
out what your brand voice and your USP are, right? Your
Hmm.
unique selling proposition. Because if you can do that, you're going to be ahead of seriously 90% of other agencies out there.
Right.
If you don't know what that is, just use ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Ask ChatGPT to help you come up with the brand voice, or ask ChatGPT, hey, what questions would you ask somebody to help them come up with their brand voice, and then just start
Right.
thinking about those things, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So if you
And
can get
those
that done, you're
right.
ahead of 90% of other agencies, right?
Correct.
And as
Yep.
far as, and then you can figure out, once you get that, you figure out who you want to go for, what your USP is, you can figure out who your ideal client is, what's called your ICP, your ideal customer persona,
Yeah.
right? So
Yep.
like your ideal customer persona could be a home service business making at least $500,000 a year. They have at least 3 employees, and they are struggling to get, they're paying for ads, but they're struggling to get clients on Google Maps.
Right.
Then once you figure out who your ICP is, then you can start tailoring your advertising and your website copy for that person.
There
So
you
now
go.
all of a sudden, you know exactly who you're going for, you know what their pain points are, and you're writing copy and ads that's going to speak directly to them. It's
Yep.
like somebody's talking directly to you, and that is, I mean, that is again something that most SEO agencies don't do because we're SEOs. We know math, right?
Right.
A lot
Right.
of SEOs don't know copywriting, right? They don't know, how to, set up a marketing funnel, right?
Yeah.
So again,
Yep.
if you do this, you're again ahead of the 90% of the 90%, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And
So
don't be afraid of making mistakes along the way because I feel like these things do take a little bit of time to evolve and refine.
mhm,
So, just what everything Kyle's touched upon is completely accurate. It's what I have found to be true over the years. Just hit the ground running, right?
mhm.
Yep, with these
Yeah.
things.
I mean, the best time to start a business is yesterday. The
Yes,
second best time is today,
yes,
right?
it is.
So just
Absolutely.
just do it. I
Right.
mean, like you said, like as far as failing, like I failed too. Like back in 2015, I tried doing mytrafficpros.com. I poured a ton of money into there, and it was going to be this amazing like Fiverr competitor, to where it was only going to be like these handpicked SEOs and stuff offering services, and that failed spectacularly because I was way too early. Actually, this is 2014 because I was way too early into the market for that, right? Now
Yeah.
you got like Chris Walker with Legit, who's just fucking killing it because he came at the right.
Right.
I
Yep.
came in, I think, too early because white labeling was still like in its infancy and shit like that.
Right.
So
Right.
that was a spectacular fail for me. And then
Yeah.
back in 2020, I invested money in an AI startup, and I thought this was going to be the greatest thing in the world. And again, that failed. Like
Right.
I've got all these failures, right? But I
Yeah.
just learned from them,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
And I never let those stop me. I just kept going. That's the biggest thing. Just keep going, keep going.
Right. I think like I wish when I had started my SEO journey, like I had realized early on that what I perceived to be failure isn't failure. It's just a part of the fucking process.
Right.
You know what I mean? And don't take it to heart and sit there and mope forever.
Mhm.
It's a part of the process. For you to get that winning formula, you just have to stumble around a little bit for those things not to work out so you can figure out the things that do work out later on.
Right. Yeah. Who
Yeah,
was I think it was Edison who said like he hadn't failed 10,000 times. He just found 10,000 ways it didn't work.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I feel like in the SEO space, like because we've talked about this before, because we're also marketers, nobody's vulnerable. But I feel like a lot of SEOs fail in other areas is why that finally, like when you see successful people, it's why they've succeeded finally. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. You don't see all the failures behind what they, behind their successes.
Right.
And that's just a fact of life. Like,
Yeah.
if you're starting an SEO agency today, you might fail. There's, in fact, a good chance that your agency will not last 2 years, but that's fine because then you're going to take what you learned here and apply it to your next agency and then to your next
Right.
agency until you do hit that $1 million agency, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
There's gonna be $1 million lessons along the way. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
exactly.
Right. And, having done this in the past a couple times, like even starting Local SEO Phoenix, you've heard me say, like, can I do this? Can I really grow a group? Can I really get clients? Even though I've done it before, right? Like, I feel like
Exactly.
everybody start, like, no matter how much you've done it or it's not your first time, you can still suffer from, like, oh my God, can I really do it again? You
Hmm.
know what I mean? That
Right.
still comes up from time to time.
Yeah,
And things are working out somehow.
exactly. But I mean, like, you're also putting in the work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing
Um,
is going to come easy. You got to put in the work. You got to just do something little every single day to work towards your goal.
you truly freaking do.
Yeah.
There
You
are
don't
days,
listen. Yeah. I mean, these gurus who tell you that you can build a 7-figure agency by outsourcing everything and working 4 hours a week. I mean, that's bullshit. They're just taking your money and trying to sell you like a bullshit
a
fucking
dream.
cloud in the sky. Yeah. It is going to take a lot of work. Like when I first started my agencies, I was working 80, 90, 100-hour weeks, right? When I started my car parts brand, I was working like 100-hour weeks. I was going to bed at like 1:30 in the morning and then getting up at 5:30 to make everybody breakfast and lunches and stuff in my house, right?
Wow. Yep. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
that.
there is work that you got to put in.
There is absolutely work you've got to put in.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, hitting 5 to 7K, getting like a good 3 to 5 clients shouldn't be too hard,
No,
depending on what you're doing.
yeah, I mean, as long as you're networking and you're doing something every single day to build your brand,
Yeah.
like post in different Facebook groups a couple times a day, post YouTube videos. People still look to YouTube for answers, right?
They do.
You know, do podcasts, go to networking events. If nothing else, then just start hitting the phone, just start cold calling. You can go to outscraper.com,
Right.
get a subscription there, and then just scrape GBPs all day and start calling those phone numbers, right? You can use
Yeah.
Coldlytics. It's $99 a month, but that's essentially the same thing that Outscraper does, just with a couple more bells and whistles. Like Outscraper will do 80% of what Coldlytics does for a lot
Yep.
cheaper. And then
That's
literally
pretty
just
awesome.
start calling these people. Yeah, just start calling these people literally. And that's all you gotta do. Like spend a couple hours a day on the phone. It sucks, and you're gonna get a lot of rejections, and it's gonna be fucking demoralizing for a bit. But if you don't have the
Yeah.
money for ads, if you aren't, the type of person to go out physically to these offices and whatnot, then just call.
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
great, you guys. This is how we've all done it. I've tried cold emails. I've tried cold calling before. I didn't stick with it, right? But in retrospect, if I had stuck with it, I probably would have gotten more clients through those
Mhm.
methods, right? But either way, like I'm sure Kyle, like you've had your strategies that you prefer. Like we didn't quit, right? Which is where we're
Mhm.
at. You're running your agency. I'm starting anew again. and getting clients this way. Like whatever your method is, whether something works or not, keep doing it. There's no way you're not going to get better at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as you keep trying.
Right.
So
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, getting 3 or 4 clients, getting 5 to 7 grand a month should not be hard. You should be able to do that within 90 days.
90 days. I feel like that's fair, and maybe
Yeah.
that's because we've been doing it a while, but I think that's pretty fair. I mean, even if you get to halfway through that, you've learned so fucking much about client acquisition
Mhm.
that in the next 90 days, you're just gonna stack it up. You know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you say you've got you've got your clients, you either cold called or cold email, or you're in Facebook ads. Facebook ads are really, really good.
Yeah.
Still running meta ads.
I need to
Unless you're
explore that. Yeah.
what's that?
I need to explore that. I need to talk to you and Dimitri about that.
Yeah, talk to Dimitri. I mean, Dimitri literally is one of the best PPC guys I've ever worked with in the
Yeah.
20 years I've been doing this.
He's crazy. He'll just show me things randomly. I'm like, shit.
Everybody's talking to Dimitri for ads. He literally is the best. One of the best I've worked with in 20 years.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, Facebook ads work really well if you're targeting, home services businesses, and I mean, not so much e-com. They're terrible if you're targeting enterprise, but if you're doing local SEO, Facebook ads, still meta ads, Facebook and Instagram work really well. Don't bother with LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is, again, just one big fucking circle jerk of marketers and enterprise level fucking executives and stuff, right? So
People claim that there's business on LinkedIn, but I've never been successful on LinkedIn. Like
no,
I've
if
just
you
never pulled anybody in.
that's not where our audience is. Our audience is local service businesses making between like $1 million and $5 million a year. Those guys aren't pissing around on LinkedIn.
Right.
Like if I was still doing enterprise level SEO, and if I was still targeting Silicon Valley companies who are about to get $50 million in VC funding, then fuck yeah, I'd be on LinkedIn.
That makes sense.
Right? For people like us, the only way to use LinkedIn is to use LinkedIn Pulse as a parasite property and start ranking things like, how do you do SEO for junk removal? Right?
Got it.
That's it. But
Right.
Reddit, I get clients off Reddit. Like I'm constantly have people in my DMs and shit.
See, I
So
feel like Reddit for you is like Facebook for me.
maybe.
Like, yeah, you're natural on Reddit, whereas I find Reddit a little difficult, so I'm trying to learn it. Like we just talked about it, and I'm starting to use it, but I haven't explored, like, on and off throughout the last 2 years. I have explored SEO communities, but I still don't feel natural at it. So I'm gonna embed myself more into it and explore it further.
Well, most SEO communities on Reddit aren't worth going in. Like I've been banned from the main Reddit subreddit SEO just because it was so full of like self-righteous fucking white hat bullshit that one day I just fucking dropped a bomb on that community and told everybody off, and they banned me. And it's the stupidest fucking questions in there too. Like you're not going to find anything good in there. If you want to really start being a part of the community, go to Big SEO, go to Tech SEO, go to the Big SEO Slack. There's a Slack channel for Big SEO. And then there's other smaller SEO subreddits on there, like Dr. Jigsaw has one, but again, those are all just circle jerks, like people fucking having a cult personality around these specific Redditors. And I've been there, and the advice is something that you would find Neil Patel writing about in 2021, right? So really, the only ones really that worth going after in Reddit are Big SEO and Tech SEO. So that's good for getting information and for building your own like network and shit.
Yeah.
But if you want to actually find business owners, you need to go to the business owner subreddits, like small business, entrepreneur ride along, things like that. Yeah, but you can't go in there being. Again, I've been banned from these under various Reddit handles and shit. So you can't go in there being superly promoting yourself. Just go in there trying to help, and I guarantee you'll get DMs.
No, that's how it works on Facebook for me. But that makes sense. Is it worth it to start your own community on Reddit, or?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like on Facebook. So absolutely start your own community on Reddit. I've got several subreddits that I have, but I don't know. I still black hat Reddit all the time. I'm still a Reddit spammer. Like that's just me through and through, I guess.
That's who you
So
are,
yeah,
Kyle.
like I like that. I spam Reddit. I've been doing it for over 10 years now. But if
Oh,
you absolutely can like organically grow your own community on Reddit, and in a lot of ways, it's just as good as Facebook,
okay.
right?
Got it. Got it. Yeah, because that was my initial idea, but I wanted to run it by you because,
Yeah.
I just have to learn Reddit a little bit more to see what kind of content people will respond to in there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So just learning different platforms and how they work and how the communities respond to stuff. That those are some things that you've got to pay attention to a little
Hmm.
bit, but the broader idea is the same, but you're creating communities where you're going to help people and look like the expert because you are the expert, right?
Right. Yeah. And you'd be surprised how many SEOs, like SEOs that are on Reddit. I
Yeah.
mean, Joy Hawkins is on there. Joe Youngblood is on there. John Mueller posts on the Tech SEO subreddit all the time.
Shit.
Yeah, a lot of well-known SEOs are on there under different handles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So you're saying expand on Reddit, Moon. Like I hear it loud and clear.
you definitely should. Yeah, like I said, like so I've got a whole bunch of custom subreddits that I use for spamming and shit. I just use them to rank in Google and stuff like that, and to build up my branding and shit. But you definitely can use it for more like white hat marketing
We got to
channels.
talk about this in our SEO testing community at some point. Like
Oh yeah,
using Reddit for like you can use it for spamming techniques to rank, but you can also use it in white hat ways to rank too, right? So
yeah. I mean, think about it. Like when you use something like Turbo Subdomains, which has you're taking the power of subdomains to rank your shit. And
yeah,
when you have something like, I think it's called Localfy or like Enterprise Publisher and shit like that, where you're using subdomains, Reddit
yeah,
has 680 subdomains that you can take advantage of.
which
And
is
people
fucking
don't do that nearly enough. Like you can create entire PBNs and shit, just like you would on WordPress
that's
using
insane.
Reddit subdomains.
The way you put it, like creating entire PBNs that way, that is insane. Like to think
Yeah.
about it that way. That's fucking cool. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Let's see. What else can we give advice on, Kyle?
So, oh, so much. I can go for hours and hours and hours for this. Okay.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the other thing too. So let's say you've got your first few clients. So how are you going to fulfill? So a
Yeah,
lot of people want to jump right into white labeling, right? So
yeah,
one thing is if you don't know shit about SEO, either one, don't start an SEO agency because you're just going to fucking fail and lose your money and be like, oh, this is all just a scam. Or two,
agree.
like partner with somebody who actually does, because you cannot start off just white labeling. And again, there are gurus out there who are going to tell you can build a seven-figure agency by white labeling right off the bat. And I can tell you that is false. I've been a white labeler. I've had to work with those people. Those people are all fucking halfway retarded, right? They don't know what they're doing. They've been sold this
Yeah,
pipe dream. They think they can do this, and then they don't know how to run an agency. Their agency fail, and then they blame
yeah,
everybody else but themselves, right?
yeah. Those are pipe
So
dreams.
yeah, you need to be able to do SEO before you start an SEO agency. Okay.
Hmm.
White labeling does have its time and its place, but
Yeah,
white labeling is best for if you're doing between 10K and 60K MRR and you're getting that 60%, 70% profit margin already, right?
agreed. Yep.
I've seen so one of the things I do on the side is like I go in and I consult with agencies and clean them up. Like that's how I got involved with Denver Digital is Dimitri and I went in and cleaned all this shit up and stuff and made them profitable, right?
Yeah,
And then things just kind of ballooned from there. But I see a lot of agency owners price themselves way too low, and then the profit margins are like 35%, right?
oh, that's
35%. Yeah, I've seen it several times. 35% is where you are if you don't want to grow. That's treading water. If you want to grow, you need to get to 65 to 75% profit margin,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
So at that point, either you have enough money to reinvest into ads and stuff, or you have enough money to go and hire a white labeler to
yeah.
do your fulfillment, right? And then you can
Right.
go out and make cold calls or shake hands and shit like that.
Yeah,
So yeah, but until then, you need to be doing the work yourself. So one of the first things that you should do when you can is hire somebody to shore up where you're weak. A lot of times, again, where I see agency owners go wrong is they are afraid of hiring somebody smarter than them. Like
that is
I
very true.
yeah. Like I'm
I've
surrounded by
struggled with
people.
it personally too, right? Like I've struggled with it personally. If I'm being frank with you, it's like there is an insecurity you need to handle with that. But
Mhm.
when you hire smart people, they're doing smart work for you. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
like I said, like Dimitri and I partnered up, and like I saw right away this guy, like I said, was just a beast at Google ads and Facebook ads, Meta ads, all that shit. I was
Yeah,
like, damn, I want to work with him. Like I'm capable, I can do it, but I'm nowhere near Dimitri's level, right?
yeah,
And like he felt the same way about me with SEO. So we have
right.
complementary strengths, and that's how we started growing things and stuff, right?
Yep,
So if you are a great on-page SEO, like you just get it, right? But
yeah,
you're weak at off-page, then your first hire should be an off-page SEO expert, right? Not even an
yeah,
expert, just somebody to do your shit. You can
right.
hire somebody, you can hire a full-time link builder from onlinejobs.ph
Mm-hmm.
for $600 a month,
Yeah.
$500 a month, right?
And we live at a time where we are globally connected,
Mhm.
right? And we have so many choices on
Right.
how to hire people, where to hire them, what budget to hire with. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Like, it's insane
Yeah.
how many choices we have to
There's
accomplish.
exactly. I mean, there's no reason to not hire out as soon as you can,
Yeah. Yep.
right? Yeah, and get somebody, like I said, somebody who's better at you in an area that's important. Like I said, if you're really good at link building, but you're not great at on-page SEO, then hire somebody who's good at on-page SEO,
Yeah.
right? Or
Absolutely.
hire a good web designer,
Right.
right? And
Yep.
then now what you're doing is you're starting to build out your agency piece by piece, one by one, right?
Yep.
And then what happens is that person who you've hired, like let's say you've got $7,000 in MRR, right? At
Mm-hmm.
that point, like you're probably still only doing this part time, right?
Yeah.
Because even at 7,000 MRR after taxes and everything, unless you live in like fucking Petticoat Junction, Oklahoma, you probably can't afford rent and food, right?
It's hard these days, man. It's
Yeah,
definitely harder these
it is. I mean, yeah, I got thoughts about that. But anyway, um, so that person who's you're paying $600 a month for to build links full time for you, that's time that you just freed up. Now you can go in and write SOPs for all the steps that you do, or film videos for all the steps that you do.
Yeah.
So then you don't have to train the next person. You can sit
Yeah.
down, show them how things work. Here's the SOPs, and then they're off and running.
You're
Right?
absolutely right. Like you and I have talked about this behind the scenes, and as I slowly bring on clients, I'm improving one thing at a time in the back end, right? And my team, like super capable people, I can now invest my time in doing Facebook Lives, with my friends here. I can create more content. I can be part of the email outreach we're about to do, right? Like if somebody wants to hop on a phone call, I'll be the face. I'll be able to make sales calls. I know enough about
Exactly.
SEO that I can, answer questions up front and then pass the work on to my team, right? And work
Exactly.
through the processes in the process.
Exactly, and you hit the nail on the head. You can be the face. That
Yeah.
is the important part. Like if you're a one-man agency and you're not comfortable being the face of your agency, then you need to find somebody who is.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
cannot do this and be afraid of marketing yourself. It's not going to happen unless you're white labeling and you're just in the background, you're making all these connections with all these other SEOs, and they just naturally know you. But if you're
Yeah.
going to business owners, you need to be the face.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Agreed. Agreed. That's a skill. Like I would say marketing yourself and being the face is absolutely a skill.
right.
Um,
And I think, culturally it's hard for us because being Asian, we're always taught to be humble and, don't
yeah.
speak up and shit like that. So it's something that culturally we have to unlearn, right?
Yeah, I've struggled with it a lot, and but like I hate doing videos. I fucking hate it. I had an
Mhm,
interview here. Once I got on, I had a blast, right? But
mhm.
like going in person, networking, that's not my jam. But I can market myself in other ways. But I do struggle with it from time to
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a struggle. I mean, everybody's gonna have something they struggle at, but the victory is just putting in the effort. Like, the
Yeah,
effort is the success sometimes.
absolutely. And things are becoming easier the more you do them. And, the clients we acquire, who knows what marketing material it was that we did that brought them in, right?
Mhm.
Maybe it's something we struggled with, but it came out well, and that was like that line, hook, and sinker that brought
Hmm.
that client in. So you've got to do
Exactly.
things. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Um, yeah. Everybody thinks that getting clients is going to be the hardest part of running an agency, when really, like, getting clients shouldn't be too hard. It's the operations that's going to make or break you. Right? That's why you need to hire as soon as you can. You need to get those SOPs. You need to get your processes done too. It's not enough just
Yeah.
to do the SOPs on like how to do a task, but you need to
Hmm.
figure out how to do that in an efficient way. So
Yeah.
that's where you get like Asana, which is what we use internally. Like Asana is good, Rike is good. I don't like ClickUp.
Okay.
Trello breaks down for agencies. Trello is good for like web design, but for agencies it starts to break down. Uh,
Hmm.
but with Asana, you have these project management boards, so you can see exactly where all the tasks are. You can see
Yeah.
exactly who's working on what, and then you can even set up automation. So when a task is complete, it automatically goes to the next person. Like let's say that you sign a new client. Okay,
Yeah.
client's input, boom, automation start. You got one person looking at their search console and analytics, make sure they're set up. Boom, that's done. Okay,
Right.
next person looks to see, what citations they have. Boom. Next person builds citations. Boom. Citations go to the client for QA or go to the supervisor for QA. Boom. Then they go to client to get delivered.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. As you scale up and you have 20, 30, 40 clients, you're going to need that
Right.
without, unless you want to go insane, managing things bit by bit manually yourself.
Right.
But
Yeah. And you need those. Like we're paying, we're probably paying $700 a month, $800 a month for Asana, but
yeah,
it's worth it. I mean, Asana is basically another employee for us
yeah,
with all the automations and shit.
I feel like organization and automation is what kills agency sometimes. Like
It
if
definitely does.
yeah, it's organization for me. It can be an
Mm.
Achilles heel for sure. Because there's a lot of moving parts to SEO, right? Like
Surprisingly, yeah.
yeah, you're not just doing SEO. You're handling client acquisition. You're handling possibly a small team underneath you. You're the face
Mhm.
of the business. You're doing content creation. Like there's only so many directions you can get pulled in, right?
Mhm.
So you've got to have a process in place, and the more automation you have in place, the more it frees you up.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, think of your automations and your project management board as another employee for you,
Yeah,
and it's something that you have to invest in. Like, you
right,
wouldn't expect an employee to work for you for free, right? Or at least not a good one.
right,
Then why would you think you can get away with using a free software project management board once you get to like 20 or 30 clients, right?
right, right,
Yeah.
right.
And,
Yeah,
yeah, your processes are gonna be another employee that's gonna help you deliver to your clients. And like you said, like, it's surprisingly complicated. Like, let's say even just doing trying to rank a service page, right? So the
mm-hmm.
process is you talk to the client, see what services they offer. Is
Yeah,
there already a page existing on the site? Yes or no? Say there isn't one. Okay, you got to create the page. So you got to do the keyword research. You got to,
yeah,
pop it into Page Optimizer Pro or Cora. You got
right.
to write the content. You got to write the schema. You got to get everything QA'd by the supervisor. You got to get everything QA'd by the client. You got to post it. You got to make sure the posting has been QA'd. You got to make sure you have the internal linking on there, right?
Yep,
All these things surprisingly are complicated that you need to break down into separate steps in your project management board so you make sure nothing gets lost,
exactly,
right?
exactly. Yep, yep.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to take the process. Like I think the first time I created SOPs years ago, it was the hardest thing in the world because like I never slowed down to think about why I was doing what I was doing
Mhm.
SEO wise. Like you were just automatically thinking and doing things. But then when I had to slow down and do it for other people, I actually had to think, analyze
Right.
why I was doing what I was doing, why I'm increasing keyword density, why entities like all of it. Like I had to break it up for somebody else to follow, right? And I
Mhm.
feel like this is where may SEOs may struggle, but it's entirely worth it to do, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
just take a couple days, full days, and write down your recipes. And like you said, you have to explain the why behind everything, and also what like in our SOPs, we put in there what's the expected outcome, right?
yeah, right.
Like it's not just enough that, oh, okay, well, we're writing this SOP on how to do on-page SEO, because
Mm-hmm.
then your VA is going to go through it and not really know exactly why they're doing things, and
Yeah,
then you know But then if you say, hey, the expected outcome is this thing will rank in the top 3 of organic searches or whatever. Now they know what they're doing,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
like you said, you have to explain the reason behind the process, because if you don't, then your VAs are going to come to a problem and then just stop or ask
Right.
you for help, right? Because they don't
Yeah.
know the concept behind it, so they can't do any sort of their own troubleshooting or figuring out why it's not working. And then it's just going to piss you off because they're asking questions every 15 fucking minutes. And I'm speaking from experience here, and this is
Yeah.
exactly what happens. So write down why you're doing these things as well.
Yeah. And the if else cases.
Exactly. It's
Oh, man.
all it's all if else, statements. It's exactly like that, yeah. Or if
Yeah.
this then that statements, yeah.
God, I remember coding those and things would get so ridiculous. But that is how you have to, lay out your processes
Right.
because, like you said, it can become a clusterfuck really quickly. It can
Hmm.
just happen. I've
Right.
seen that happen too. But
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And then so the last thing too that a lot of agencies, well, not last thing, one of the things too is client communication, right? Which is why
Hmm.
like we have client portals. There has to be a way for clients to get a hold of you, and if the only way they can get a hold of you is by emailing you, that's going
Hmm.
to get unmanageable really quick,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
have some like group inbox or whatever where you and one of your VAs can go in and respond to messages or something, right? Or
Yep.
have some kind of a ticketing system. Like we have client portals to where
Yeah.
they can just go in and see their ranking reports, see their conversions, see what's going on, and that answers honestly like 80% of the questions that they have,
Right. Right.
right? Because a lot of what clients want is, what's going on, what are my rankings, why aren't I ranking, shit like that. But if you have a client portal where you put all that stuff in there, that's going to free you up, because
Well,
then they won't be bothering you.
yeah. If we slow down and think about it, right? Like if your pricing is low, hopefully you're getting clients that are 1,000 to $2,000-3,000 a month, right? Like let's just say. Now anybody who's spending that kind of money, just think about the type of money you've spent. This is a service that they're acquiring from you, right? And if they don't hear from you the whole month, there's a type of anxiety that might be building up, right?
Hmm.
Like, well, what are they doing? Like, are they doing anything? What's going on? Right?
Hmm.
Like if I paid that kind of money, I kind of want to know something, right? Like I want an update or whatever. So having a client portal like that, I think
Hmm.
would just really ease things up and the client has access to certain things, right?
Exactly.
It's just a point of communication, I think, that just needs to be done, like some
Mhm.
way of them to look at things.
Right. Exactly. And like you said, the point of communication is just sometimes literally just communication. They just want to know
Literally
something's
say
there. Yeah,
it. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So having that client portal is going to take care of that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you have any client portals you recommend? Like
Yeah.
a cheap solution?
Client-portal.io is what we use. Client-portal.io. That's the one we
Perfect.
use.
Okay.
It's a WordPress plugin, so you can put it on a subdomain or a subfolder,
Yeah.
and it has everything you could possibly need in there. I mean, since it's WordPress, you can even put in like a go high level chatbot or whatever in there if you wanted to. Super easy to install on that. And then yeah, you can just put in all of your ranking reports, your SOWs, your whatever you want the client to see. You can be in there. They log in. Each client gets their own portal, and then
Yeah.
they can click and see their reports or what you're doing this week or deliverables, shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, your monthly reports, whatever you want in there, which is pretty fucking cool. All
Yeah.
these tools we have today are awesome. It
Yeah.
forces you to organize, which is exactly what you need, right?
Hmm.
Let's touch on the last thing here, which, okay, let's say it's your first client, you really don't have a budget. How would you do SEO? Like, what kind of tools can you get or not get for on-page SEO? Like, I really think like you can actually assess the top 3 competitors, right? And
Hmm.
adjust and optimize that way, right? You don't have to have a tool. But for backlinking, what do you think? Or maybe there's a cheap on page tool that you can recommend.
Yeah, a cheap on-page tool would be Page Optimizer Pro. I think you can get it for as low as like $12 per report.
Oh shit.
Um, yeah,
Okay.
for sure. If you're a little more technically inclined, you can get Quora, and then there are gigs on like Fiverr you can get to where you can run a report for $5.
Oh,
Right?
that's super doable. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Phrase is another good and relatively affordable one. But I wouldn't just raw dog your SEO. Like you need to have some sort of a software at this point, unless you're targeting something
Yeah.
that's super low competition.
Right.
Right?
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. So there's that for backlinks. I mean, I talk about SEO Neo all the time, and that's super easy to do. You do need to. There is some technical setup that you need to do for that. Like, you do need to have it on a VPS. You do need to have proxies and stuff like that. If you don't want to do that and you are just getting started with backlinking, I mean, there are gigs on Legit and stuff that you can get, or you can get stuff from the ranking store. So if you go to rankingstore.com, probably their most affordable backlinking tool is something called G Sites Factory or Make a Cloud Stacker. And you
Okay.
can get G Sites Factory is like $127 a month, and I'm not sure how much Make a Cloud Stacker is, but both of those are relatively affordable. And let's say you only stick with G Sites Factory, which just makes Google Site PBNs for you, right? It's $127 a month. You pop in your OpenAI API, and then you can run that yourself, right? And then that's $127 a month you're paying for link building and shit, right?
Taking off
Yeah,
your plate. Okay.
exactly. For citations, I mean, you can hire somebody for literally $3 an hour to make citations for you, or you can go to, like Legit, Marketer Center, Fiverr, stuff like that.
Citations are easy to order these days.
Exactly.
Just get that off your plate, right?
Yeah, that's basically it. Then you can use, at that point you can, I mean, you can do client deliverables just with like you can build out reporting on like Looker Studio if you want, or agencydashboard.io is super cheap. It's like $35 a month for 5 clients.
Oh, okay. That's super doable.
Yeah, and then just use Google Drive to host your stuff, and then just use the free version of Zoom, which gives you, I think, 40-minute meetings or whatever for free.
Yeah.
And then use that for client meetings. Just give them, be like, hey, in your package you get one 30-minute meeting a month. That's it, right?
Perfect. Yeah.
And that's really all you need to do when you're first starting out.
Honestly, like making money with SEO, it's a cheap business model. Like you can literally start $100 to $200
Right.
in that range, acquire clients, pay for tools with the money that they've paid you, and just get rolling, right?
Yep.
And I would say, like, we've discussed so many things here, but I would say that if you can hire someone for fulfillment, that's the biggest thing you can do, or white label, however you want to do it. If you can if your strength is in sales, then hit the ground running. Hit the ground running, specialize in that, and let your team handle it, or if you're doing white label with someone. But yeah, lots of great advice here. Is there anything else we should cover? Because I think we're at an hour mark.
Yeah, I mean, if there's more, I mean, if there's some more interest in this, we can do another one, but I can go on for hours and hours and hours and days about this.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
I almost like this makes me want to do a 90-day challenge, but we've talked about it because I've been building the group up from the ground. We've talked about how it might be a good idea to record videos on how I have built up my own agency.
Yeah, you definitely should.
Doing it with the group, so maybe that would be helpful as well, right?
Yeah, you absolutely should. That would be, I think people would love that. That's cool.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I just gotta sit down and knock it out.
You should. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like whether you're starting new or you're starting for the second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, like everybody goes through the struggle. So yeah, we can definitely do that.
Yep.
All right. I think this is a good point we can end at. And if people have questions, I will encourage them to pop them with this live, and maybe we can continue next week or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Dimitri's going to give you a hard time. We went live without him. So
I know.
Big for him this time?
Yeah, he's definitely going to give us shit later.
Yeah, he will. All right. I will end this stream and then maybe you and I can chat for a minute after.